Howdy everybody. So I just checked my timer and I have met my 1 hour activity goal for the day. So this would be the last video that I make while I'm out here in my secret land. Because I'm going to turn around now and start walking back toward my car. But I did want to make one more video about just kind of what this is like the 6th video I've made, so which is good for you because like this could have easily been one 60-minute video instead of 6 10-minute videos, but apparently my phone has some kind of 10-minute limitation on videos. Yeah, so I'm out here in the woods doing my thing, and it kind of occurred to me while I was doing the last video that I'm not, not the last video. Well, yeah, it occurred to me during the last video, but it kind of pertains to a previous video where I talk about kind of goals and stuff, and that I'm almost I'm very goal averse because I take failure hard. Like if I don't do something perfect, then I'm easily discouraged. So, for example, like if it were my goal to hit 70,000 steps, a day or in a week, so that's 10,000 steps a day. So if I got to 600 or 69,000 steps, and I would consider that to be a failure, and the next week I may not be nearly as I wouldn't take it well the next week, like the next week I may not even try, because I would be very disappointed. And so for me, setting goals is very difficult because of that, because I've almost trained myself not to set goals so that I'm not disappointed, right? And so one of the things, and this is what occurred to me in my previous video, is that I need to redevelop this ability, or maybe develop it. I don't know that I've ever had the ability to set goals and meet them, and if I don't meet them, then proceed on and finish, something. So it's very difficult for me, and because of that disappointment factor. So I think that that's something I'm really gonna, and I don't even know where to start to work on that. I don't. So I've been listening to this audio book by Chris Bailey, something about productivity, because I can't ever remember the title, and but it has productivity in the name. I know that, and the author is Chris Bailey, so you should be able to look it up. Anyway, 6 minutes left here to make my final video. So I was talking about how would I develop the ability to set goals. And so I think that the first thing is I would have to do is identify goals, right? So I'd have to identify something that I want to set as a goal. So for example, something like running a marathon. So do I want that to be a goal? Yes. Okay. So put that on the list. And then so once I have kind of all of my goals figured out, then I can go back and start figuring out, okay, how am I going to make this happen? What has to happen to make this goal happen. So under each goal, and this may not be like going strictly by this guy's productivity recommendations, whatever, but it's kind of something that I was kind of riffing on and thinking of just now. So under each goal, you would say, okay, for me to achieve this goal, what has to happen? So like to run a marathon, right? So you got to train for it. So you got to run, you got to work up through. I got to lose a bunch of weight, right? So, I mean, because technically, you know, I could run a marathon at my weight, although it would be walking, not running. So, and it would be painful. So, maybe after identifying some of these things, then I could refine that goal, right? To say, I want to run a marathon in less than 4 hours, or at 4 hours, or something like that, you know, and or I might redefine the goal to just say I want to complete a marathon, no matter how long it takes, you know, something like that, depending on all these different things and how long I think it's going to take and all this stuff. So anyway, first step, identify goals. Second step, figure out what you need to do to achieve those goals. And then, okay, go this way. Sorry, I'm walking around and don't know where I'm at. So after you identified and the goals and done the second step, then the third step would be to start to prioritize the goals and to when do you want to get them done. And so and then you this is the point where you start taking the goals into consideration as they relate to other goals, right? So if one of my goals is to become the fattest man in the world, and the other goal is to run a full marathon, those are conflicting goals. So you would have to figure out which came first, which comes second, and kind of prioritize them. Figure out how all the steps relate. Are there any steps that potentially could be combined steps, you know, between two different goals? Like if I wanted to run a half marathon and a full marathon, then obviously there's a lot of overlapping steps there. So but the half marathon would come first, right? Because, you know, it's much easier to run a half marathon because I've done it before than it is a full marathon. So anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think I'm going to have to first start defining some goals about many different aspects of my life. You know, not just fitness, but like my career and things like that. And then I'm going to have to start identifying what I have to do to achieve those goals. And then identify the effort level required to achieve those goals. And so forth and so on. And this is a really good video, I think, because it's really allowed me to kind of, in my head, develop a system and then put it, you know, into words. And so I might actually go back and look at this video as a reference, which is kind of cool. So anyway, my time is nearing the end. I'm almost at the end of the trail. So I will talk at you some other time. Bye.